The biggest oil companies in the world are expanding fossil fuel extraction worldwide. Basically, they're saying, well, we only have so much time here, so we better do this really fast. And they're investing hundreds of billions, in fact, not hundreds of billions, they're investing trillions of dollars on extracting as many fossil fuels as they possibly can today to kind of make hay while the sun shines. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to see you. You know, we've got the price of batteries coming down drastically. Experts are saying it'll be cheaper to manufacture an electric car in 2029. Now, I believe that'll happen actually probably next year. However, we've also got solar panel prices that have been drastically reduced, 50% reduction in panel prices last year. Solar and wind have been developed at an enormous pace over the past 12 months. At the same time, these big oil companies are going, well, holy smokes, what are we going to do? And a lot of them are investing into renewables because they realize that, well, they want a part of the future. Unfortunately, though, they're also investing hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars into extracting as many fossil fuels as they can right now. So if you're wondering why is the price of lithium, nickel, cobalt, why the price of iron ore? Why is the price of all these minerals come down? And the experts are saying, oh, it's just because there's not enough EVs being sold. EV sales have slowed down. Well, we know that's a lie. EV sales worldwide last year were up more than 50%. The real reason is these fossil fuel companies are trying to extract as many fossil fuels as they possibly can in basically what has turned out to be a race to the bottom. Despite the growing social and political discourse in favor of energy transition and the greening of the industry worldwide in order to, well, essentially save the planet, big oil companies continue to rely almost exclusively on fossil fuels to perpetuate their function of obtaining and concentrating energy, and of obviously making money. A study carried out by the Institute of Environmental Science and Technology at the University of Barcelona shows that far from choosing new alternative and sustainable energy sources, for the most part, fossil fuel companies are relentless in their efforts to expand their extractive operations. To do so, they deploy new technologies and seek politically favorable locations around the world to perpetuate oil and gas extraction. So once one country isn't favorable to them, they do their best to just find another. And they basically have a list of every country around the world. Can we go there? Can we go there? What's the best there? What's the best? This is really what you'd call exploitation. There's many countries around the world where people are suffering. There's not enough money. And they go, well, hey, this is a country where we can go in and take advantage. The research recently published in the Journal of Energy Research and Social Science is based on the analysis of 50 socio-environmental conflicts caused by the extractivist industry around the world, documented in ICTA UAB's Global Atlas of Environmental Justice. The report reveals the significant social and environmental costs of the industrial activity. This is not just kind of destroying the planet, it's also really having major social costs in many countries. The relentless growth of the global economy and the inexorable dissipation of energy drive oil and gas companies to constantly expand their operations in the world's peripheries is the key word here, to meet the demand of industrial economies. And primarily, I think that's not necessarily the right word, because industrial economies are going much greener fast. The truth is, yes, there is demand for sure, but this is primarily for one thing. It's just pure profit above everything else. The author of the study notes that these companies continue to rely on oil and gas because of its high energy density and its easy transportation and storage. Now, why is it easy to transport and store? Well, because all the systems and the networks are already set up. Governments have sponsored fossil fuels to the tune of trillions of dollars for decades. And so there's a vast network in place for them to just continue doing this. The growing need for fossil resource extraction requires the constant expansion of extraction frontiers and the exploitation of the environment and of local and indigenous communities who can't defend themselves in unindustrialized areas like the Amazon, for example. This gives rise to numerous conflicts where local organizations fight for the preservation of their lives, livelihoods, and culture, while companies simply defend their profits and take as much as they can, and then leave once everything's been basically pillaged. This is evident, for example, in the cases of conflicts generated by the French company Total Energies of the extraction of fossil fuels in the global south, where indigenous peoples fight against these activities that are so harmful to their environment and their way of life, explains Leonardo Pesquina, who points out that oil companies thus become vectors of an oppression that links societies enjoying the benefits of lavish energy with those that suffer the impacts of extraction. Now, the truth is, you may think that a lot of these communities, get benefits. The reality is, most of these countries, there's dictatorships, they're war-torn. It's very unlikely that local communities are going to get any kind of benefit from these extractions, from this removal of oil and gas or any minerals whatsoever from their local areas. And that's why, for them, it's just disastrous. The research was carried out in collaboration with ICTA UAB researchers. And according to Leonardo Pesquina, the analysis of these socio-environmental conflicts reveals how Western states and private oil and gas giants mutually benefit from each other. In the case of Total Energies, we see how French diplomatic and military relations paved the way for oil extraction in former French colonies. Arguably, through oil diplomacy, the company extends French colonial influence throughout the African continent and beyond, he said. The findings make it clear that governmental environmental regulation alone will not force fossil fuel companies to change their business model. So a deeper political change that challenges the post-colonial and extractive nature of modern Western states is needed to spell the end of the fossil fuel era. Now, we can play our own part in this as well. I mean, if you don't live in an apartment block, you can install solar panels on your roof. You can get an electric car. The amount of fossil fuels that you use once you've done that is fairly minimal. Remember, the battery pack will be recycled. We're now recycling solar panels. So the truth is here, you can play a big part in reducing the impact that you have and the contribution that we make as being part of Western society, contributing to what is really a terrible situation for so many hundreds of millions of people around the world. This is not just Africa, by the way. It's just places like Southeast Asia, India as well. So I think, we do have some responsibility to make a decision which helps other people. And not only other people, but helps us too. I mean, what kind of a planet do we want to live in? Thanks for watching.